Yeah, here we go. Happy hump day to you. Welcome into another edition of the Joe Raineri Show. Yours truly here, and I want to thank you so very much for making us a part of your day here on the WTF Sports TV network family here. We want to appreciate you taking the time out. Also want to remind you, we've got a phone number up here. 855-WTF-2255 is how you reach us. And, of course, you can always hit us up on Twitter, on Periscope, on Facebook, on YouTube. We are across all the streaming platforms. That is what we do. We're all about the technology. We're all about streaming to you live each and every day, bringing you some of the best sports content we can on WTF Sports TV. So the only thing we ask is that you guys go ahead, subscribe, like us, follow us, all right? Get notified every time we go live here on the channel, and we would much appreciate it. Also want to send a big shout out to the peeps who are hanging out on social media with us already, on Twitter, Facebook Live and YouTube. You guys are crazy. Already we've got them going. We've got Charlie's in there now. I see Ralph has just joined us. Megan, welcome, guys. Thank you very much for stopping by. We've got some things here. We're excited. We got some things we want to tell you about the headlines today. If you are busy at work and you haven't had a chance to check it out, we're going to tell you some of the big storylines today, including why the NFL hates us, especially hates people in Atlanta. I will explain that coming up. Also, I do want to send a shout-out to Scott Miller, old friend of the show. Scott Miller is Bleacher Report's lead Major League Baseball writer. He's going to drop by bottom of the hour here, just about 15 minutes away. He's going to talk about some baseball playoffs. What do we got? 10, 12 games left in the season. We've got Yankees, Red Sox. We got drama being filled in the National League Central, between the Cards and the Brewers and the Cubs and the National League West. There's a lot going on in Major League Baseball, and I couldn't think of anybody better to speak to than the legend himself, Mr. Scott Miller, Bleacher Report, Major League Baseball writer. He'll be joining us at the bottom of the hour. You don't want to miss that. If you guys have any questions, of course, for our guests, we invite you to please go ahead and hit us up. All you got to do is hit us up via the social media. You know where you guys are. You're in the chat rooms. Go ahead, type your question there below. We'll get that to Scotty as soon as he comes on. But we'll start first and foremost with one of the big stories today had to do with more Tom Brady drama. New England Patriots, Tom Brady, Bill Belichick. This is usually right around the time of year, and tell me if I'm wrong here, but this is where we usually get the New England is imploding. They lost a game early on in September, so New England they've lost it. That's it. It's over. Also, Tom Brady, Bill Belichick hate each other. There's total animosity. We usually always get that right around the second, third, or last week in September. And it seems like we've been getting it year after year where we completely stick a fork in the New England Patriots in September because they lose a game like they just did. And by the way, it wasn't like they lost to the Cleveland Browns. They lost to a team that was just a couple of plays away from beating them last year in the AFC Championship game and moving on to the Super Bowl. So I don't think there is any shame in losing in September on the road to the Jacksonville Jaguars. But that doesn't stop the haters from coming out and just blasting the New England Patriots. And then you have guys like Ian O'Connor who have just released another book. And listen, is it quite possible that you've got Tom Brady and Bill Belichick don't like each other? Of course that's possible. As a matter of fact, it wouldn't at all surprise me that these two have a lot of animosity towards each other. But that has absolutely nothing to do with what happens during game week and during game time. Now, in this book, it was released that Brady felt trapped this past offseason. He wasn't sure if he wanted to play anymore for the only coach that he's ever had, Bill Belichick. And this, of course, is a new book written by Ian O'Connor about Belichick's life. It said, quote, if you're married 18 years to a grouchy person who gets under your skin and never compliments you, after a while you want to divorce him. This is coming from a source who has knowledge of the Brady-Belichick relationship, told ESPN's Ian O'Connor. And he said that, yeah, Tom just doesn't know if Bill is the best coach in the league anymore. Actually, I'm sorry. He said Tom does know that Bill is the best coach in the league, but however, he's just had enough of him. And if Tom Brady had the choice, if Tom Brady was to choose so, he would choose to divorce Bill Belichick at this point. I mean, listen, if Tom Brady is done playing football, then retire. I mean, that's bon voyage, see you later. But I am fairly certain, as much debate as there is on this, I am fairly certain that Bill Belichick wouldn't be the coach he is today. Tom Brady would not be the quarterback he is today if these two hadn't come across each other's path and destiny take control of the situation. Together, they are great. They are great. The sum of all their parts is much greater than those guys as individuals, all right? We saw what Belichick could do as a head coach in Cleveland without Tom Brady. We've only ever seen Tom Brady under Bill Belichick, but I can tell you right now, whatever it is, it's worked, and Tom Brady knows that. Now, unless they're just trying to sell some books here, which is quite possible, that they do that a lot lately these days. People go ahead and they rip out these clickbait headlines, and then they write about these storylines just to be able to grab your attention, and then ultimately there's really nothing to it. And I am sure that Tom Brady can't stand Bill Belichick on many levels. And I can guarantee you, I am sure that Bill Belichick cannot stand Tom Brady on a whole lot more levels. But the reality is, I can guarantee you at Patriots camp, when it comes to the New England Patriots getting ready to take on the Denver Broncos or the New York Jets or the Miami Dolphins, I promise you, you will not find two people more on the same page in the history of this sport than Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. And ultimately, at the end of it all, isn't that exactly what it's all about? They can hate each other all day. I mean, how many of you have actually worked with people that you love on an everyday basis? There's no possible way that I know for a fact there are people and bosses and managers. There are people that you're going to see every damn day as you steal the corporate time and watch this right now on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter, and we love you for that. But I can promise you that there are people in your life right now that are managers of you, bosses of you, co-workers of yours that you cannot stand. You just, on a personal level, you hate it. You can't stand them. They drive you crazy, but you know what? When that project is due, when that paper is due, when that loan's got to close, whatever it may be, you know what? You probably wouldn't want anybody else next to you looking to accomplish the goal than the people that you have around you. Because if that was the case, if they weren't good enough, then you probably either would have replaced them, you would have quit, you would have moved on. And it's the same thing here. Tom Brady not liking Bill Belichick, feeling trapped. Welcome to the world. Anybody that's ever had to work for anybody or take orders from somebody knows what that feels like. Tom Brady's not excluded from that. But the idea that these two together, when it comes to what's going on right in front of them that week, there are no two more people in the NFL or at a job more prepared to put their personal feelings aside and take care of business than Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. And I just find it exhausting that every year, right around this time, New England will have laid an egg somewhere along the lines. We keep hearing about how New England doesn't have any wide receivers. Now that it got Josh Gordon, they don't have this, they don't have that. And then, of course, October, it's, oh boy, New England seems to have figured it out. And then we get into November, and it's like, oh man, New England, they're just running away with it. And then by December, we're talking about, all right, who the hell is going to beat the Patriots? And we've done that now over the last 3, 4, 5 years with this team, and it's exhausting. It's not the first time that we've heard about Belichick and Brady not liking each other, and as long as these two guys are still on the same sideline, as long as Belichick's still the coach and Brady is still the quarterback, we're going to keep hearing stories about how they don't like each other, and poor Brady feels trapped, and yada, yada, yada. Listen, you two are perfect for each other because you are like an old married-ass couple. But the reality is when the chips are down on the table and push comes to shove, I promise you if you ask Tom Brady or Bill Belichick, Belichick, who would you want under center? Fourth quarter, 60 seconds to go in the game, and you got to take the ball down, 80 yards. You think he's going to say Aaron Rodgers? I mean, Brady's going to say the same thing. He'd rather not play for a coach, anybody outside of Bill Belichick. And that's where they're at right now. So, I mean, it's nice. I hope it's going to sell some books. But this debate that we've got on, if he doesn't retire this year, Tom Brady, then we'll be hearing about this crap again next year about how they don't like each other, and we'll just keep going on and on and on until Brady either gets to be 100 years old, they've got to wheel his ass off the field. But I can promise you, it's so funny how we don't remember as well as we should exactly what we were saying at this time last year. And I see Vari Don Kingping Poitier is in the house in Facebook. Vari, good to see you, brother man. Happy Wednesday. Yo, yo, yo. Vari, if you're just joining us, we're talking about the rumor now in the book that just came out, Ian O'Connor, ESPN, about Belichick's life, talking about how Tom Brady and Bill Belichick don't get along. And that Brady has thought about divorcing him and wanted to walk out the door. And I find it hysterical, Vari, that here we are in 2018, 5, 6, 7 Super Bowls later, 8 Super Bowls later, however many they've been together, that obnoxious number. And yet here we are as football fans. We're saying the same thing that we did this time last year about the Patriots. Stick a fork in them. They don't have this, or they don't have that, or they haven't replaced it. It doesn't look like the same Patriots team from the year before. We keep saying the same shit over and over and over, and yet I promise you by December, we're all going to be looking at that going, all right, who the hell's going to beat this team? And there's only one reason for that, and it's because of Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, and that's it. And that's so they can hate each other all they want. They're stuck with each other, and their lives will forever be joined at the hip, and people will remember this great Patriots dynasty as one that was created by Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. And if they hate each other, well, they hate each other. Nobody's asking them to spend retirement, at each other's house. But as long as Brady is still on the sideline, and as long as Belichick is still calling plays, they're going to have a chance to win, and we're going to sit here and continue to say every September how, oh, man, I don't know, man. Did you guys see the Patriots? Oof, I don't know. I don't know about that, man. I'm a little bit worried. The Patriots don't look like what they were. Oh, bullshit. The Patriots are the Patriots. They do exactly what they do every year. They lull you to sleep. It's exactly what happens in September. Nobody has ever won a Super Bowl that won September. I mean, I'd have to go back in the books, but you understand the point here is that nobody gives a shit what happens in September. For the most part, take the NFL season and whatever happens in September, the 3 or 4 games you end up playing in September, take them, okay, and then wipe your ass with them, because that's how much they mean. They mean absolutely nothing on the scope of things. You've got teams who need the first 2 weeks just to be able to get their starters in game shape, because just like the Rams did this year, none of those guys, Aaron Donald, none of those guys on the Rams actually played a damn down in the preseason there. So it takes, Khalil Mack, holding out, is still waiting to get his legs. I don't even think we've seen the best of Khalil Mack because he's still trying to work off the rust. So whatever happens in September, you take it, you forget about it, and you throw it away. It means nothing in this game. Is who's going to win October and who's going to win November, and who are those hot teams going into December that you need to worry about. And I can tell you, I don't care what the offensive line looks like, and yes, even before they got Josh Gordon, the New England Patriots will be a topic of conversation come December when it comes to talking about the playoffs and the Super Bowl. It's just the way it is. And as long as we've got them together, apparently we're going to continue to hear from guys like Ian O'Connor about how much, and this guy spent a boatload of time on this book, I think. What was it? He spent a lot of time. Like, he spent the last couple of years writing this book and talking to people. So I know he's put a lot of time. I love Ian O'Connor. I think he writes some really great stuff. But unfortunately, this is just another one of those yawn. Yes, I get it. You know, they don't like each other. It's well documented, and we can all move on from there, because ultimately the only thing that matters in this sport, and actually in life, it's not how much you like the guy. You can like somebody all day long that you work with and not make any money with them, and then ultimately what the hell good does that do you? So you don't have to like the people that you work with in order to be successful. But I promise you, you can like them all day. If you're not successful, chances are you're going to find new coworkers or new people to hang around with. And yes, Vari, they now have Josh Gordon, so which changes everything. And we know that. It changes everything. All right, 855-WTF-2255 is how you reach us here on the show, 855-WTF-2255. Say hello to the new peeps hanging out on Twitter and YouTube Live. Guys, welcome in. Happy Wednesday. Hope your day has been going swimmingly. Do want to take a moment to recognize our good friends over at Miami Acura, who would love you to stop by and take a test drive. The all-new 2019 RDX. It is on the way. It is coming your way. That is right. The all-new 2019 RDX. Take it for a test drive. The deals are crazy. It's South Dixie Highway, Palmetto Bay. This is one of those trucks. You take it for a test drive, you're not going to want to bring it back. They're going to have to call the cops on you. It's going to be a mess, but trust me, it's worth the risk. Call Miami Acura. Tell them Joe said that I need to take this new RDX for a test drive. You are going to be amazed at the prices and the deals right now for the 2019 RDX. That's Miami Acura, South Dixie Highway, Palmetto Bay. Give them a call at 855-564-4669. Looking forward, we've got Scott Miller, old friend of the show here. Scott Miller is Bleacher Report's lead Major League Baseball writer. We've got all sorts of playoff game implications going on right now. I know the Cards were actually playing this afternoon, and we got to see if we can't find the score in that game. Let me see if I can pull this up here so we can get you guys updated. Atlanta ends up beating the Cards 7-3, so all of a sudden that Central and wild card race in the National League gets a little tighter. And then, of course, we're all waiting for the New York Yankees Boston Red Sox Game 2. 7:05 is the first pitch there. And Boston will have another opportunity of closing out the Yankees at Yankee Stadium, celebrating the clinching of the American League East. I think there's only about 12 games left. But there is some very interesting things happening right now in both the American and National League as far as playoff implications go in the wild card. Oakland rather hasn't been doing very well. They also have kind of tapered off. They've lost their last three. So the Yankees have a pretty good advantage on the wild card home field advantage. I still think they're about 2.5 games up on the Oakland A's, but they're good. I mean, the Yankees are going to be just fine. Now they've also, I think we've got Chapman, just came off the DL. He was reinstated today, so they'll have Chapman back in the bullpen. Things are getting back to normal. They got Aaron Judge played in the game last night for the first time in a long time. And it's not even the American League. Think about this. The Yankees have just about 10, let me see how many games they got. I think they have 11 more games to go. And what's fascinating to me is the fact that, oh, get off of there. Sorry about that. Get out of there. Yes. What's fascinating to me is that the Yankees are going to end up winning 100 games this year. And they are going to be a distant second to the Red Sox. I mean, that would have been good. The Yankee season this year, in 9 out of the last 10 years, would have been good enough to not only win the American League East, but also would have been plenty enough for them to be able to have home field advantage throughout the playoffs. Didn't make a damn bit of difference who it was. But because the Red Sox, who have won 103 games already, are doing what they do best, they've got 5 of its 11 games are against the Yankees, including tonight's. Including tonight's game. So one more win, they clinch the East tonight. And I do believe they've got Price. Severino's going up against Price today. And a few months ago, we were going to chalk this up as an easy win for the Yankees. But then all of a sudden, David Price, after the All-Star break, figured out how to pitch. And then, of course, we've got an even better situation with Severino now coming back, and we're trying to figure out if Severino is going to go back to being who we hope he was back in the beginning of the year. So I think we're trying to get our man online here, Scotty. Let me see here. Technical difficulties here. You guys hang out with me. We'll get him on in just 1 second. And by the way, follow Scotty Miller, guys. If you guys like baseball, there is nobody better than Scott Miller. Let's see here. Let's see. I know he's trying to call in. All right. Yeah, this is kind of the cool thing, too, about doing a whole live streaming thing, is that we don't have to account for every second. So we can just hang out here. Let me see if he's going to call back. If not, we'll go ahead and call him up. All right, guys, you guys hang out here. We're going to do a quick commercial break. We'll come back. We'll get Scotty Miller on the phone, and we'll talk some baseball with him as we get ready for, I can't believe it that we're even doing that. We're 10 games away from the playoffs starting in Major League Baseball. I don't know where this year has gone, but we've got that. It's going to come up next, so we will get a word from our sponsors, and, of course, Lowcast Airlines, Superior Cruise and Travel, Miami Acura. We love you guys. Want to thank them so very much for making it possible for us to do just this, and we hope that you will support them as well. Scott Miller, Bleacher Report, coming up next.
Dish TV is better than cable TV. Why? Because you can save 45% on packages compared to your high-priced cable bill. Wow. Take those giant scissors out and cut the cable and save with Dish TV. Plus, you get a free DVR upgrade to record your favorite shows and free installation. And with Dish Anywhere, you can watch TV for free on your mobile device. Act fast. You can save hundreds of dollars. Does your cable company do that for you? I don't think so. Get all the best TV programming at your fingertips at a fraction of the price of cable TV. So say adios, arrivederci, goodbye to the high cable bill and save up to 45% on Dish TV packages today. These are limited time offers and can change at any time. Call fast. 800-293-0328. 800-293-0328.
All right, we're going to bring it back. We're going to see if we can get Scott Miller here on the phone. Bleacher Report. Let's call him. Let's see if this works. Oh, man, look at this. You won't get this anyplace else, I promise you.
Oh.
Hi, Scott.
Yes.
Hey, it's Joe Raineri in Miami.
Joe?
How are you, my friend?
Hey, Joe, good. I called in a little while ago. I could hear everything you were saying.
Yeah, no. You know what it is, Scotty? Technology is a wonderful thing when it works over there. But I'm glad we've got you. He is Bleacher Report's lead baseball writer. Love his stuff. It's been so much fun having the chance to follow this season and follow you there, Scott. And let's talk, first and foremost, the Yankees and Red Sox here tonight. A lot of Yankee fans here in South Florida. We've got Price going up against Severino. A lot of people think this is going to be the night the Red Sox clinch it. If this was a couple of months ago, we might have looked at this game and said, Severino, easy win over David Price. But David Price, what has happened to him since the All-Star break?
Yeah, you know, he's a lot of people wrote David Price off. And, you know, he gets knocked for his can you hear me? I got really bad static.
I got you, man. Go ahead.
Okay, good. David Price, a lot of people wrote him off. He had struggles in October. People bring that up. You know, people thought, you know, he was ineffective. But, you know, Price is a smart veteran, and, you know, he's made adjustments. And, you know, you can't take that experience away.
No, you can. And Severino, Yankee fans are hoping at some point just flips that switch again and he goes back to what we saw early on in the season. How much of what you've seen from Severino do you think is above the shoulders as opposed to in the shoulder?
Yeah, he's still a young guy that I do think a lot of it's above the shoulders. I mean, It's kind of the opposite of what we just talked about with David Price, right? I mean, I think Price, he's got not just the talent, but the wherewithal, the knowledge, the years of experience to kind of get himself out of jams, whereas Luis Severino is still trying to figure himself out. He's got great stuff. His fastball has been, earlier in the year, clocked as the fastest in baseball among starting pitchers. And sometimes that can be a little bit of a detriment. I mean, obviously the stuff is there and it's great, but if he's just relying on the stuff versus, moving the ball around and outthinking hitters, then that can be a problem.
It sure can. Aaron Judge also back. Scott Miller, Bleacher Report, joining us. Aaron Judge returned to the lineup, did go 0-4, but if you would have asked in the beginning of the year, Scott, the most valuable person on the Yankees team, would anybody have thought that an extended period or absence by Aaron Judge, it seems like this team needed Aaron Judge more than anything over this stretch. I mean, they've been atrocious over the last couple of weeks, the last month, and people are pointing to, well, we need to get Aaron Judge back. Aaron Judge, the MVP of the Yankees?
I would, you're right. That's what everybody talks about, but I would disagree, and I would point in another direction. Along with Aaron Judge being out, shortstop D.G. Gregorius was also out. The Yankees sorely missed him. And, I think that is the reason right there for a lot of the Yankees slump post-All-Star break. You look at the numbers with Gregorius out, it's not just Judge, but it's Gregorius as well. Gregorius is kind of the quarterback of the infield. He plays a really good shortstop. His bat has been good. Early in the year, remember, he got up to a really hot start, hit a lot of home runs early, got the Yankees going. They're going to need all hands on deck in October. There's no question about it. I'm still concerned with Judge. Those hand and wrist injuries for hitters take a big toll, and I don't expect Judge is going to go on a big hot tear anytime soon. I mean, we saw it with Justin Turner of the Dodgers, who broke his wrist in spring training. When he finally came back in May, it took him almost half a season to round into shape, and he admits even now that he gets some periodic soreness in that wrist. I think, I don't know if I want to say the Yankees are rushing Aaron Judge back, but I think there's no substitute for time on that chip fracture of the wrist or any hand or wrist injury with hitters.
Before we get to the National League, talk about what's happening there. We did have a game earlier today between the Cards and the Braves that is going to go a long way with figuring this all out over the next week or so. I got to point out, Scott Miller, Bleacher Report, joining us, at Scott Miller, BBL. Follow him on Twitter. You did a recent piece about King Felix and in Seattle and what kind of year this has been good. I don't think that a lot of people, because he's hidden in Seattle, certainly here on the East Coast, don't realize what has happened here to one of the greatest, most dominant pitchers we have seen in a very long time. He hasn't won a game since June 30th. He was relegated to the bullpen, and the future all of a sudden is not very nobody knows what's going to happen with King Felix. What has it been like for him in Seattle?
Yeah, he's definitely struggled this year. It's been tough on him emotionally to not be able to be there for his teammates and for the city, his beloved city. He had he could have left as a free agent several years ago. The Mariners talked about potentially trading him, but or at least I should say others talked about that's the best way for the Mariners to rebuild, and they refused to do it all these years. It's been between Felix Hernandez and the Mariners themselves, it's been a 12-year love affair. But like a lot of pitchers, Felix is 32 now. What used to be a 98 fastball, then a 95 mile an hour fastball, is down around 91, 92, and he can't overpower hitters anymore. So he's having to relearn how to pitch. He still, his slider and his curveball can still be out pitches for him, but he doesn't have a margin for error with his fastball anymore. And, the Mariners for the longest time this year had a really good, they had a great start and they had a chance to make the playoffs, but they didn't get any help from Felix, and now they're pretty much out of it. And, it's been a tough year because Felix is part of the reason why the Mariners, weren't able to get to where they hoped they would get. And, They put him in the bullpen, and he thought about taking a leave of absence to get away from everything and clear his head. His wife came and met him and talked to him and, said, look, you don't need to feel bad. You've done so much for the team, for the city. You just need to be you, and he's trying to reinvent himself right now.
And that's not an easy thing to do, especially for somebody that has been at the top of his game for as long as he has been at that game. One of the truly good guys in baseball. It's just an unfortunate situation that he fell off the cliff as fast and as far as he does. We've seen this in the past before, but it just seems as if it kept rolling downhill, and him and Stottlemyre Jr. and those guys over in Sid, they just haven't been able to figure it out for him yet.
No, they haven't, and they're working hard with him. They've changed his whole routine. He used to throw like many starters. On the second day after he starts, he'd throw in the bullpen. They've taken that away. Now he throws just 10 or 15 pitches up from flat ground every single day. And the thinking is lessen the workload, but focus more sharply on what he needs to adjust to and save the bullets in his arm for the game.
Scott Miller joining us, Bleacher Report. National League, we got people all worried about a possible three-way tie going on here. It seems to be a big traffic jam. We've got the Brewers, we've got the Cubs, we've got the Cardinals, you got Dodgers, you got Rockies, you got all of it. How do you think it's going to play out once we're all said and done here?
The Dodgers are going to win the West. I don't think there's any question there's no question in my mind about that. They're just too deep for everybody else, and they're playing well, and they're just the best team. So that's going to leave Colorado in the wild card mix. And St. Louis got a tough schedule. I think Colorado can slip around St. Louis in the wild card. What I like about Colorado, they've got their last 7 games at home, and we all know how well Colorado plays in Coors Field. And they're playing the Phillies and Nationals. I'm going to say probably the Cubs win the division. Milwaukee and Colorado are the wild cards. But, don't count St. Louis out. But I think the wild cards will come from somewhere 2 of those 3, Milwaukee, St. Louis, and the Colorado.
What impresses you more from the job of a manager this year? What they've done in Tampa Bay, or what the Cardinals have done post Mike Matheny over there? What impresses you more with those 2 organizations? Which one do you think had a better hand in bringing those teams up?
They're both pretty good, huh?
Yeah.
It looked like when the Cardinals fired Mike Matheny, they were basically waving the white flag. They made a couple other trades to rearrange their bullpen at the time, and looked like they were going to play for next year. But Mike Schultz did a great job with St. Louis. You can't say enough about the job Kevin Cash has done in Tampa Bay. With they're what are they, about 16 games over 500,
yeah.
And they're playing. Granted, they get to beat up on the Baltimore Orioles 19 times, like everybody else does in the American League. The Orioles stink, and Toronto's not much better. But still to pull the winning record they pulled with, in a division with Boston and the Yankees, that's very, very impressive. And with little resources and a team they pretty much constructed on the fly. So. I may say Tampa Bay, Kevin Cash's job is just a little bit better, but boy, he and Mike Schultz, both, I think, flip a coin. They've both been great.
Yes, they both have been. It's absolutely amazing. And baseball season, it's almost, the playoffs are almost here. It's hard to believe. Scott Miller joining us, Bleacher Report, and I'm not going to hold you to it, Scott, but how it's going to play out here. I know who you think you're leaning towards, but who are we going to be watching in October for the World Series? What's your gut tell you?
I think, I like Boston. I think Boston's been the best team in baseball all year long. The big wild card there is Chris Sale. Is his shoulder going to be okay? If his shoulder's okay, and they've got him and Price and Porcello atop the rotation, I think Boston wins the American League. If Sale's shoulder is not quite right, Houston's still right there with him. So one of those 2 teams, I'll go Boston if an healthy Sale. National League, I think we're going to see the Cubs and Dodgers in the NLCS for a 3rd consecutive year. And, that's a coin flip. I think, right now with all things being equal, I would be I see a Dodgers-Red Sox World Series.
Yeah, you never know. Two big market teams over there. Major League Baseball would love it. And we love the fact you took a few minutes to hang out with us, Scott Miller, Bleacher Report, at Scott Miller, BBL. Make sure you follow him on Twitter. Scott, it's a pleasure talking to you again, my friend. Look forward to doing this again.
All right, my pleasure, Joe. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Scotty Miller, Bleacher Report. Nobody does baseball quite like he does. Love it. It's a pleasure to actually have a chance to talk to him again. Haven't done that in a long, long time. Nobody knows baseball like Scott does, man. Follow him. He's a great follow on Twitter. Works with Bleacher Report. He's their lead baseball writer. The guy is he's something else. It's a lot of fun to watch him there. All right, coming up, I can see we got Big Bear joining us. We want to talk some college football. Plus, I'm going to tell you why it is that the NFL absolutely hates us. They hate us. They hate you. They hate the city of Atlanta. The NFL made the announcement for who's going to be doing the halftime show in Atlanta this year, and I want to throw up. You're going to throw up. We'll tell you what that is. It's coming up next.
Where do you want to go on a vacation or honeymoon? The Caribbean, Europe, Hawaii, Mexico? How about Disney or a cruise? At Superior Cruise and Travel, we've got you covered. We'll assign you your own travel concierge. They'll help you design a custom vacation plan that you can't find online. And the service is completely free. You can't compare the value of this to any other online travel company. We can help you plan a custom vacation anywhere in the world. We even offer payment plans with no credit card required. Now you pay off your vacation on your time schedule. Call now and mention the promo code RADIO and save up to $500. Book your custom trip. Call Superior Cruise and Travel now and talk to one of the highest rated travel agencies in the country with a 5-star A+ online rating.
800-901-5536. 800-901-5536. 800-901-5536. That's 800-901-5536.
Were you scammed into signing a timeshare contract? And did you miss the part that said you have to pay for your great idea? Not only for the rest of your life, but when you're not here anymore, you get to pass this turkey onto your family for them to pay for the rest of their lives. Thanks, Dad. Don't burden your family down the road, and don't be stuck with expensive timeshare payments forever. Get out of your bad idea timeshare contract guaranteed, or pay nothing. Call Resort Release today and learn for free how their timeshare exit team can help you legally exit your timeshare contract. They've helped thousands of people, and they're A+ rated with a BBB. So if you feel scammed, get mad and get out of your expensive timeshare contract right now, guaranteed. Call NOW.
800-898-0816. 800-898-0816. 800-898-0816. That's 800-898-0816.
Back pain doesn't take vacations. It never celebrates holidays. It's on the job 24/7 to keep your life exactly where it is, in limbo. But it doesn't have to be that way, because Laser Spine Institute can help you take back your life from chronic neck and back pain. With a less than 1-inch incision, our minimally invasive procedures have provided relief to over 60,000 patients with a 97% patient satisfaction rate. So get ready to stand tall and live the life you've imagined for yourself without pain. Are you or a loved one suffering from a bulging disc, herniated disc, spinal stenosis, pinched nerve, or degenerative disc disease? Call our spine care consultants now for a no-cost MRI review and to learn more. It's time to say goodbye to chronic neck and back pain. What have you got to lose? Laser Spine Institute, the leader in minimally invasive spine surgery.
Call 855-720-BACK. 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 That's 855-720-BACK.
Don't be such a pussy. Subscribe to the Say It With Me podcast with Joe Raineri on iTunes today.
Yeah, you heard her, all right? I'm telling you right now, make sure you go ahead there, subscribe to the channel too, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, at WTF Sports TV. Want to thank you guys very much for hanging out with us. We'll also want to thank great Great time talking, as always, to Scotty Miller, Bleacher Report, Major League Baseball writer. Some really cool information, some great information. People don't even realize what's going on with King Felix in Seattle, but this is a guy that has fallen off the cliff big time, and they actually relegated him to the bullpen this year. That's how bad it has been for King Felix, a guy that people feared for 10 to 12 years in the American League. Nobody ever wanted to face him, and now they didn't know what to do with him, and he was of no help to them when they were trying to make the playoffs and make a playoff run. So it's sad to see how far. And listen, Father Time, we all know, Father Time doesn't lose to anybody, but I can't get over how fast it went downhill for King Felix and for the Seattle Mariners there. So great article on that. Check him out at Scott Miller, BBL, Bleacher Report. Really cool stuff about the Yankees and the Red Sox tonight, too. If you didn't get a chance to hear it, don't worry. You'll have it on the replay. All right, so we got the Big Bear shows up, and, of course, he's already throwing Florida State Seminoles around. They're going to be 2-2 at the end of Saturday. Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. They better win some of these games. Their over-under was 7.5 or 8, I believe, to start the year, and they've got a stretch coming up at FSU that is not going to be easy. So you could be looking at maybe 5 or 6 wins this year at Florida State if they can't figure out how to get a first down. And I had mentioned this, guys, to you yesterday. Third down conversion percentage, not even 20%, is what FSU is doing right now. And for all of the crap that Jimbo Fisher got for leaving and heading over to Texas A&M, you think Jimbo didn't realize that maybe the recruiting classes weren't as great as everybody projected them out to be? Absolutely no offensive line whatsoever, and that's on Jimbo, man. That's Jimbo, and it was his staff doing the recruiting. That offensive line is putrid, and it's a shame because you do have a pretty damn good quarterback in DeAndre, but he's running for his life. He's not happy. There's a lot of animosity going in there, and Florida State is a tough program because all you're told in Tallahassee is how great you are, and then when you show up and you're not great, that's a problem, and that's what they're going through right now. New coach, poor offensive line. Defense is getting hung out to dry because they're on the field the whole goddamn game. So it's tough. And I know it's a new system. Don't get me crazy. I know it's a new system. But the new system was supposed to be on the offensive side of the ball where they're going to be up-tempo. The problem is with up-tempo, and you guys know this, if you don't get first downs, your defense is screwed, because then your defense is out on the field the whole game. I love up-tempo, and I think they've got the horses to be able to do that. But when you don't execute on third down, when you're not even making 20% conversions on third and any distance, then your defense, you're leaving them out to dry. And that's kind of what's been happening thus far through 3 games. It's certainly what happened at Syracuse. And listen, nobody plays faster than Syracuse. What Dino Babers has got going on up at Syracuse, you want to talk about up-tempo. But the problem was they were up-tempo, they scored. And Syracuse's defense would come out there, and Florida State just couldn't get any first downs. And once again, here we go. The offensive line is crap. I know it is. And believe me when I tell you, I know it is, and they know it is. And you know what? Even more importantly, Jimbo knew it was total crap. And that's kind of what they're dealing with in Tallahassee. So it's not fun. Winning cures a lot of this. There's a whole bunch of games coming up here that Florida State is not going to be favored in, that if they can pull an upset here or there, I think a lot will be forgiven, and we will get back to that. It's a new year, it's a new season. It's, give the guy a chance. I know there were some people calling for one and done, where he should be, he should be fired. Let's not get crazy. The whole thing in college football is you've got to have at least 3 years to be able to recruit your own kids, because it's all about recruiting. So we know Jimbo didn't do them any favors over the last couple of years. So now let's see what Willie Taggart can do over the next couple. Let's see what he can do when he gets, his guys in there. And it's the same thing with Harbaugh in Michigan right now. There is no more excuses for Jim Harbaugh in Michigan. These are all his kids. He didn't inherit anything anymore. If you don't win now, Jimbo, I don't know what to say. Excuse me. I think he's I think he's on his way back to the NFL soon enough. It's not working out in Michigan. All this time, and you weren't able to go and get yourself a quarterback still. You haven't been able to identify a quarterback. That's crazy to me. So Jimbo's going to have a difficult time moving forward at Michigan, especially if he doesn't end up beating Ohio State and Michigan State this year. It's going to be a rough go for Harbaugh there. All right, 855-WTF-2255. Nebraska and UCLA are also 0-2. That's what we're getting there. And, yes, they absolutely are. Nebraska and UCLA both 0-2. Chip Kelly's team is horrendous. And can't say that I'm surprised with that because, what did they do? They end up firing their coach last year midway through, so recruiting got really messed up there at UCLA. Chip Kelly is he's already fighting with one of the fathers, one of the parents on the team who's calling Chip Kelly crap, and he's battling back and forth with parents. So Chip's going to need 3 to 4 years to be able to install the kind of athletes that he needs in order to run his system. And Scott Frost at Nebraska, he's going to be fine. I mean, look at what he did with UCF. He built that team at UCF. The guy can coach. He's a Nebraska boy. They love him there. They will give him 5 or 6 years. You can't compare the history and the enthusiasm and hype that surrounds Nebraska and UCLA, who is forever been the little stepchild of USC in Southern California. The anticipation and the expectations are not what they are in Tallahassee. And it's unfortunate for Willie Taggart. It's not South Florida, my man. It is FSU. It has a rich, long history, and they like to win. And when you don't win, yeah, that puts a giant X on your back there, and they're going to be gunning for you. They're going to be calling for your job. They're going to be calling for everything. I don't think that's going to happen in UCLA just yet, or Nebraska. They are so happy to have Scott Frost in Nebraska. They're going to give him 10 years. But I do think he will be successful there, and I do think Chip will be successful in Southern California as well. I mean, look at it. To me, it's not Chip Kelly. It's the guy at USC, Helton there. How long is he going to last? You want to talk about a guy that's in over his head who has absolutely no idea what he's doing, should have never been given the head coaching job there at USC. It's clear that from a recruiting standpoint, not going to happen. Should have kept the LSU coach there when you had the chance. He's going to be, I think, one of the first ones to go, maybe even before the bowl games this year. USC at this point is not trending to play in a bowl game. Can you imagine USC not playing in a bowl? You want to talk about alumni who are impatient? You think it's bad at Florida State? Yeah. You wait to see what happens this year. USC now completely upside down as a school, as a program. And they're going to start losing guys to Chip Kelly. It's going to get ugly in Southern California, but I don't think it's going to get ugly with Chip. I think it's going to get ugly with Helton, the head coach of the USC Trojans, who have they won one game? I think they've won one game, and it's been embarrassing at that. All right, wanted to let you guys know, if you haven't heard, the NFL hates us. They do not like us. Anybody who has had to sit through a halftime show during the Super Bowl, you guys are going to love this choice. It has come out. It looks like we've got Maroon 5 as the next Super Bowl halftime act, huh? Maroon 5, people. How excited are you? And don't everyone jump up and down and scream and yell at the same time. That is right. Maroon 5 is going to be the next halftime show this year's Super Bowl. And I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but I do believe that is in Atlanta. And if that is the case, I'm trying to figure out, was there nobody of all the people, like the roster of musicians that the NFL could have picked from that have Atlanta ties, that you could have made it a homecoming, so to speak? Yeah, I just don't know how Maroon 5 ended up making that list. I do believe, like the last time they brought the Super Bowl to Atlanta, and this is why I think they really hate people in Atlanta, didn't they have, it was Phil Collins, Christina Aguilera, Enrique Iglesias, Tony Braxton. It was like a Disney production that they ended up bringing to Atlanta. And I mean, the roster of people that they could have there, I mean, CeeLo, Killer Mike, to Future, T.I., Lil Yachty. I mean, the bench is pretty deep on Atlanta musicians that they could have come up with to be able to do the halftime show. Outkast, Usher, Ludacris, Migos, Collective Soul, I'm beginning. Just about anybody and everybody outside of Maroon 5. Yes, I know, Vari, it's hard to believe, but that's correct. Yes, they have gone with Maroon 5 as the halftime show. And if you're in Indianapolis, it's one thing, but you're in Atlanta, man. I mean, you are, and you didn't do Atlanta justice last time by giving me Christina Aguilera and Phil Collins and Tony Braxton. So I don't get it. And I understand that the Super Bowl, listen, they realize that guys like you and me probably aren't there at halftime. We're out. We're, filling up the keg. We're going to get the beers. We're doing anything but probably watching the halftime show. The NFL realizes that it's usually the girlfriends, the wives, the females in the audience, and I'm not taking a shot, but that's who usually watches the halftime performance. So I understand that Maroon 5 is appropriate for the halftime show, but man, it just could not be any worse than, I mean, what are you going to have? Nickelback open up? Nickelback and then, Maroon 5? You can't slap the city of Atlanta any harder than what you're doing by bringing in Maroon 5. So it's either the NFL just doesn't care, had already locked this deal in, or nobody in Atlanta exactly. I'm with you. I mean, the lineup is ridiculous of what they could put together for for Atlanta when it came to musicians. And I'm being told also, I think that the keyboardist, this is important, the keyboardist in Maroon 5 is a graduate of Morehouse College in Atlanta there. So there is a connection, although nobody would ever know that. I'm sorry, man. It would have been so much better. This could have been an ass-kicking halftime show if they would have gathered the Atlanta musicians together. They could have put together one hell of a show. But instead, they sold out. They gave us Maroon 5, and I don't know why, given the fact that it's in Atlanta. Again, if it was Indianapolis, that's one thing, but it's Atlanta. Yeah, that's a problem. That's a big time problem. But enjoy. There's going to be a lot of females, I'm sure, at the Super Bowl party going shh shh shh. Lord, hold on. Adam Levine's coming on. Shh shh. Hold on. Adam Levine's going to be on there, and that is exactly why guys like you and me, we walk outside and we don't come back. It's for that reason alone. So I don't know. Yeah, who else am I getting there? Big Boy, Andre 3000, Gucci, Jeezy, Little John, Killer Mike, Jermaine Dupri. We could have gotten a whole lot better than Maroon 5. So pretty sad, NFL. Not gonna lie. That's actually a pretty sad situation. And I was so gonna go to it, but now I'm not gonna go to it because I don't want to have to deal with that. All right, coming up, we do have some college games on Saturday, early line movement, early lines. I'm going to tell you, there's 4 games where the spreads and the lines don't make any sense to me on Saturday. I'll tell you these. I want you to circle them and get ready to play them come Friday or Saturday, because the lines, and I'm hoping they don't move from where they are, because then there is some money to be able to be made this Saturday in college football. I'll give you the 4 games. I'll tell you what I think it should be, and I'll tell you what it is, and then you can go ahead, of course, and play these games, and we'll all make money, and then we'll all fly to Atlanta and boycott Maroon 5 together. But first, want to thank my good friends over at Miami Acura, as well as Low Cost Airlines and Superior Cruise and Travel. Here's how it works, guys. It's fairly simple. these sponsors support us, and we're hoping that you will support them. So if you are planning a trip to the Super Bowl and you need some airfare, low-cost airlines is the way to go. Or if you're planning on taking a cruise, you want to come down here to Miami and take a 3 or 4 day cruise to the Bahamas, Superior Cruise and Travel is definitely the place to go. We want to thank them, and we want to thank you for supporting them. It's win-win for everybody. So coming up, we'll give you those college games and the picks and the money that you're going to make, and we'll do that coming up next.
Or yellow pills for $120 with free discreet shipping. You can save more than $700 off pharmacy prices. Charge your sex life now and save a ton of money. Call now and get your 44 pills and save over $700 and qualify for free shipping. Stop overpaying and call right now.
800-764-9168. 800-764-9168. 800-764-9168. That's 800-764-9168.
Greece is cheap.
But the airfare costs a fortune.
Paris?
Not much closer, and again, airfare...
What about Puerto Vallarta?
Let's face it, flying anywhere is just too expensive.
Wait, what's this? Low-cost airlines.
With one call to low-cost airlines, you'll drastically slash your travel costs. We're talking insanely low airline prices to any of your favorite destinations. Where would you like to go? London, Rome, Costa Rica, Australia?
Wow, that's cheap.
So why wait? Call now to learn how crazy cheap it is to fly anywhere in the U.S. or international. Our prices are so low, we can't publish them. The only way to get them is to call to instantly hear the most amazing best deals on airline travel. It's that easy. So call now and start packing.
800-761-1427. 800-761-1427. 800-761-1427. That's 800-761-1427.
Get ready to talk sports. It's the Say It With Me podcast. Now, here's your host, Joe Raineri.
Welcome back in, and happy Wednesday to you. Coming up on 5 past the hour. If you're on your way home here, congratulations. You made it through another work day. Thank you very much for tuning into us and making us a part of your day. At WTF Sports TV, that is how you reach us via Twitter, via Facebook, via YouTube. We do it all, guys. We're streaming live on all 3 platforms, so we invite you to spread the wealth and, of course, follow us, subscribe to us, like us, and pass the word, if you will. Just told you, if you're joining us here, Maroon 5 has been announced that they are going to be the halftime show in Atlanta this year. So that thud that you heard earlier today from the state of Georgia was most of the people feigning in Atlanta realizing that, yeah, so you're not going to give me T.I., you're going to give me... Maroon 5 and Adam Levine. So congratulations there. Wanted to get to this story just came out. I think this is hilarious, and I wanted to share it with you. The guy on the screen that you're looking at right now is former Buffalo Bill Jordan Matthews. That is right, Jordan Matthews, who is now on his way back to the Eagles, in which he was a favorite target of Carson Wentz in his first year there. He is on his way back there, and I guess they were talking to Jordan Matthews, and somebody had asked him for a comment or something along those lines, and he basically said about his time spent in Buffalo that I'm a father now because of this year in Buffalo. When they asked him what that meant, he said, well, there's nothing to do there but each other in Buffalo, which is not necessarily true. You can also break picnic tables, right? You can break through, you can eat chicken wings. There is, yes, obviously some sexual activity that you can deal with and partake in the parking lot during a Bills games. But yes, there are more than just, doing each other in the city of Buffalo. And of course, Bills fans went absolutely crazy there, going, really? Really? But he is on his way back to the Eagles now, and the Eagles will have a healthy receiver who is apparently somebody who spent the last year having sex in Buffalo because there's absolutely nothing else to do. So good luck with that. Let me know how that works out. Jordan Matthews is now a Philadelphia Eagle. Back to the Eagles where he belongs. Unbelievable. All right, let me give you these games here for Saturday that I think are a little bit out of whack and a little bit all over the place. And I'll start with, first and foremost, Notre Dame taking on Wake Forest. And Notre Dame struggled against Vanderbilt last weekend, and they're following that up with a trip to Wake Forest. And I don't know that, listen, Wake Forest is a good team. They're a solid team. They're not going to blow anybody away. I mean, they're an okay opponent, but they're going to be on the road, and I do believe that the spread is only is about 13.5. And that's a little whacked out if you ask me, because I don't think Notre Dame is a 13.5 point favorite over Wake Forest at all. 7.5, that's where I would like to see the number, but you're looking at 13.5 right now, and I think that's completely out of whack. As is Akron at Ohio State. And outside of a letdown game that they had following their loss to Oklahoma, I don't understand this line very much. Iowa State is without a doubt at least 3 touchdowns better than Akron. And Akron is coming off their first win against a Big Ten team in over a century, so they're bound to get a letdown. And they're looking, the spread right now is 18.5, and that spread should be way closer to 15 points than the 18.5 that they're getting. So I think Iowa State is going to win that game and win it easily. So I'm not even worried about laying the 18.5. I should be having to lay 24 or 25 points. Also, I'm getting Ohio at Cincinnati. This I also don't understand, but this is an 8.5 point Ohio game in which they are receiving 8.5 points. I don't get Cincinnati. I haven't bought into them yet. I mean, they beat a bad UCLA team on the road, and then Miami, Ohio, in a torrential downpour. I think 8.5 seems to be too much for this game. Ohio at Cincinnati. I'm thinking this is more a 3.5 point game. So if you're going to give me the extra 4 or 5 points, I'm going to go ahead and take it. And I think also Pittsburgh -4 at North Carolina. I don't think Pittsburgh deserves to be a favorite on the road against North Carolina, even though I think there's still some suspension issues going on with North Carolina. I thought their performance against ECU was disgusting, to say the least. And they did have a close week 1 loss to California. But I don't know. I think Larry Fedora is a good coach. He's going to be at home. And I don't think Pittsburgh deserves anywhere to be near a -4 favorite in here. This, to me, should be North Carolina -2, -2.5. And instead, you're going to give North Carolina points at home against a Pittsburgh team. Yeah, go ahead and jump all over North Carolina. Be the contrarian. Look at these games. Take the points with Ohio that you're getting. Take the points that Iowa State is laying right now. They're only laying 18.5. It should be closer to 24 as far as I'm concerned. And, of course, Notre Dame is, I don't know, Notre Dame should be way more than a 7.5 point favorite against Wake Forest. So there you go. Those are my picks for you to make a little bit of money on a Wednesday. Tomorrow, Wake Forest struggled against Tulane. We took go an overtime win and still didn't cover. Yeah, no, I know that. I just, I don't know. Notre Dame on the road, not exactly a great position for Brian Kelly and the Notre Dame squad there. So I'll take the points all day long there. Tomorrow, just a stacked lineup of Vegas insiders are going to join us to go over all these games. Our girl Kelly Betts is going to stop by, as well as the legend Mark Lawrence. He's going to join us too. They've got some inside information on the games this weekend. All right, Saturday and Sunday. If you're looking to make a couple of bucks, these are the guys to listen to. They're going to be joining us. It starts at 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Make sure that you drop by, hang out with us. Don't worry if you don't see it. The replay will be here on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Periscope. Make sure that you guys like and follow us at WTF Sports TV. Tomorrow it's time to make some money as well. The Jets taking on the Cleveland Browns. Thursday night football. We'll hear from our Vegas insiders as to the games that they like and how you can make some money this this weekend. So that's coming up on tap tomorrow at 4 p.m. You guys enjoy your night. Vari, love you, brother. Thank you for coming by. The Big Bear, appreciate it. Tony, thank you very much. You guys are awesome. Come back again tomorrow. Join us 4 o'clock. We'll do it all over again here on WTF Sports TV. Make sure you subscribe, guys. We love you. We'll talk to you tomorrow.